So welcome, guys, ladies. It's going to be gender specific. Welcome to my takeaway. Today I'll be discussing Firebase. So I think I decided to talk about something a little bit different today because we obviously have a lot of friends and family who are trying to keep their businesses afloat in these COVID times, specifically by trying to go onto the web. And I don't know if you've all been bombarded with people saying, hey, listen, can you build me a website? I need this or I need that, and you oftentimes want to get it done quickly. So today I thought I'll, just discuss how we can quickly, build a website and deploy it for your friends and family in a matter of minutes, and specifically using Firebase. So let's get into it, shall we not? So what is Firebase? So Firebase is a tool set to improve and build and grow your web application. The tools it gives you cover a large portion of the services that developers would normally have to build themselves. This includes things like analytics, authentication, database, configuration, file storage, push messaging, and the list goes on. So these services are hosted in the cloud and scale with little to no effort on the part of the developer. So I think this ties in quite well with my previous takeaway, speaking about the dangers of cloud. So these are some of the really big positives of cloud, and I think it's quite helpful. So, obviously, as we move on, there are always some pros and there are always some cons. So let's have a look at these pros and cons of Firebase. So the pros, the database options. So Firestore and Real-Time are database options that one can choose to build their application. They both are cloud hosted, NoSQL databases that are flexible and scalable in terms of size. The Real-Time database provides users with the ability to work offline, access real-time updates that enable them to work with responsive web applications with no internet connectivity. All right, this is obviously free for beginners. No, it's not obvious, but this is free for beginners. The platform doesn't charge for most of its services and requires choosing a pricing plan only after reaching a certain amount of database memory. It's great for beginners who want to validate if their platform is good enough for their product and also don't want to pay for the full services upfront. So for those who want to estimate the total price, they'll need to pay for the customized plan. The last one for me is the ease of integration. So finally, the ease of integration and quick setup. The pre-made API that the platform offers enables you to add new functionalities with just a few clicks. Firebase requires little to no technical knowledge to start working on your product. The simple user interface makes it possible to implement functions like authentication to your application without major problems. The cons. Obviously, there are going to be some downsides to Firebase. So let's have a look at that. So data storage being inconvenient. So usually you will use the real-time database as your main storage, which isn't always so good. The main problem with is limited querying capabilities. You can't query for more than one key at a time, and the service doesn't provide a way for you to filter your data. It's because the whole database is a JSON file, and it's nothing near the storage format of SQL. The format also excludes the option to model the data. There's also limited data migration. So unless Firebase provides a migration tool to enable easy transfer of users' data, it strongly limits the data migration. It makes users dependent on the platform. And in case of changing the concept of backend base, there is no way to transfer the application to another source. So with that being said, why don't we go and see if we can quickly build an application and deploy it. So what I want to start off doing is I'm going to, give me a second, head off to firebase.google.com. If you're signed in, it will send you to this screen here where you can click onto the go to your console, which will send you to the Firebase console. So obviously, not obvious, but you can see I have a couple of projects here that I've done myself just testing. But you can go and you'd only have this if you hadn't created a new project. So you can click on this to create a new project. You can call it test project and see if the name is available. It is. Click on continue. You want to enable your Google Analytics. You want to select an account, a default account, and you want to create the project. So this project creation takes a little bit of time, I think probably like a minute or so, just to get everything prepared and ready for you. But it shouldn't take too long. But I think whilst we wait, I think it's quite cool, it's quite powerful, and I would always recommend everyone, or someone, to use Firebase. I found it quite helpful, especially throughout the grad program. And it's just almost done there. Cool, so project's ready. So now it will send us off to our dashboard. In the dashboard, we can have the project overview, where we can see the authentication, the cloud Firestore. This is one of the databases I was speaking about earlier. The real-time database, the storage where you'd host store your images, videos, documents, whatever it is you'd want to store, and your hosting, which is going to be very important to us, where we're going to host our web application. All right, first what I want to do is I want to click on the Firestore, and I want to create a Firestore instance. So we can create this database. You can choose production mode or test mode, up to you. Doesn't really matter. And you need to choose your location. I'm just going to take the US Central. We'll just wait for it to load. Sorry, it just takes a bit of time. In the meantime, what I want to do is I want to create a new folder in my desktop. We'll call it test2. Let's see, is this ready? Yes, this is finished. So what we also want to go do, we want to go into your hosting, and we want to start the hosting. Cool. So we've got this now. This will help us install all of the tools that we need in order to run the Firebase. So let's copy this and go back to our new directory in test2. Open up a command line. And in there, we can just run this, which will now install all of the packages and all the tools that we may need, or that we are going to need in order to run Firebase. Whilst that's installing, I'll get the next bit ready. Whilst that's installing, I think we can just move on to, so for the sake of this presentation, I found quite a cool tool that we can use called Mobyrise to quickly help us build a web application. There we go. It's ready. I'm still busy. Okay, it's done. So we want to come this side. We want to log in into Firebase. And as you can see, I'm logged in as myself. And we want to go and we want to initialize Firebase. So all of these commands are provided on the actual Firebase console there. And we want to click on initialize. So we're ready to proceed. We'll say yes. We want to select a couple of features. We want to database deploy. Yes, we want that. We want to deploy rules and create indices. Yes, we want that. Configure and deploy cloud functions. Yes, we want that. Configure and deploy hosting sites. And yes, we want that. And that's all we need for this presentation. So I'll click on enter. And we want to go and select an existing project. And we can see, try find, where's our project? Where's this project? We can call it, oh, excuse me, give me a second. Let's use the sample project. We want to go there, click on enter, Firebase Firestore will set up. We want to click on enter. Install our dependencies. Okay, whilst this is getting ready, we can go back to our Mobyrise, go to our sites. We can create a new site, call it test site, and choose a theme. Click OK. Let's quickly choose a navigation bar, call it a test site. Test site. Add a new one. And we can try find a footer. A quick footer just to add in there. And there we go. So what we want to do is we want to publish this to a local directory, one that we just created in test. And we can create a new one. Call it source, src. Select the folder and publish it there. So while that's going, let's head back this side. We want to create a public directory. Now that that's finished setting up, we call it yes. Do we want to configure a single application? Yes. And do we want to automate builds and deploys with GitHub? For this presentation, we don't need, so we'll say no. And the initialization is complete. So if you go back, what we'll find is that we've got everything set up for us here with our public directory where our index.html file resides. So you can go back to your source. What I want to do is I want to copy these two across, put them in our public, and I want to head back to my command line, and I would want to Firebase deploy. Hopefully nothing will go wrong. Oh, God. Oh, sorry, one last thing I need to change. We'll go into here, functions in this package.json file. Because this is for testing, I need to change this version to 8. Save that, hit back this side, and there we go. Just whilst we wait for that, hopefully nothing will go wrong this time around. And there you go. A single page web application is ready with that web application, with that directory. Moving this across, and your website is hosted within a matter of minutes. So yeah, sorry, that took a little bit longer than I anticipated, but there you go. You've got everything that you need, your test site with everything that you have, and your friends will stop bothering you. So I hope you guys enjoyed that. Hope you guys got something from it.